Well, welcome to the Valley Hoops Insider podcast, part of the Valley Hoops Insider website. I'm Harry Schroeder, host of the show, editor of the site, and our guest is the brand new Illinois State basketball coach, Ryan Pedon. And Coach, thanks for spending time with us today. Two quick questions. What is the Bear Award? And why is your son named Maddox? That's a unique name. So I want to get those things out of the way before we dive headlong into basketball.
Oh, great. Okay, that's great. Happy to start off with that. I'll start with my son first. That's a name that my wife was a teacher after college, and she had a student that was one of her very favorite students, and the student's name was Maddox. And she always told Maddox's mom, I want to name my child Maddox when that day comes. And so I really had no say in that, Harry. It was predetermined. And so the name came from one of her former students. So obviously signed off on it, and it is a unique name for sure. So the Bear Award it's sort of turned into a phenomenon. It's a joke. To some extent. It is a real award. But if I were just breaking it down for you very quickly, the Bear Award is essentially, it's a College of Worcester. We have an end of the year banquet every year. We've got great fan support there. A lot of people come, and it's an award that's given annually, essentially to the guy that has the most spirit on the team, and also the guy that probably didn't get any other awards at the banquet. So that was that by the time I was a senior, I had worked my way into being a role player, and they were like, hey, this guy's not going to he has no chance at any other awards. Let's just give him the Bear Award. So the Bear Award, and so it appeared in my bio, like when I first got hired at Miami of Ohio, it appeared in the bio, and I was like, how did that even get in there? I think they had read something in the past. And so every subsequent job after that along the way for me, I always asked the SID, I said, hey, if you could do me just one favor, just please include the Bear Award. So this has stuck, and here it is 20 some odd years later. The Bear Award is still in my bio. And I think there's people out there that probably believe it's an equivalent of the Heisman Trophy of basketball, and it really is not. It's not at all. My teammates still ride me about it, and so it's become a kind of a little bit of a joke that has continued to follow me all these years later.
It makes it fun. I asked you about Maddox on purpose. I watched part of your press conference. And just last week, I was watching Steve Prohm's press conference. He just got the job at Murray State. And you and he both had the same emoting moment when thinking about your family. The job you have and the jobs you've had are not necessarily easy on family. And it maybe reinforces the value and the importance of family, doesn't it?
For sure. My family, I'm sure Steve's as well, is very important to you. You don't have anything if you don't have your family. And my family to me has been a rock for me through all these years, the highs and lows, and just knowing what all wives in this profession sacrifice, all sons and daughters sacrifice. There's so many great things that they're able to be a part of by being in this profession, but it's a hard road. It's a hard road for them, and our jobs aren't necessarily always conducive to being the best father, the best husband. You got to really work at it, and I think it just kind of hit me in that moment, and it means a lot to me that they were there, that how supportive they are, and they're a big part of why we are here today at Illinois State. So that's sort of my view on it. And my family, my wife and my son, are a huge part and going to be a huge part of what we do here at Illinois State.
At your press conference, you said that Illinois State checked the boxes, a lot of different boxes that you were thinking about in terms of location and recruiting and the culture around the university and those kinds of things. Uh, this wasn't the first time you thought about taking a head coaching position, I'm assuming. What made this different this time?
I think the opportunity that Illinois State presented with the combination of location, high level academics, what I think is has the infrastructure of being a great basketball program, not good. I think has all the makings of being a great program, the support. And personally, for me, the time in my life and my career and my journey, I felt that I was ready. There's been other opportunities maybe along the way, and I didn't feel as strong about the timing or maybe certain aspects. But this one was different. It was different from really the moment that I considered it, that I looked at it, and after getting to know some of the people here, Harry, and their vision for the program, it excited me even more.
When I listened to your introduction, the press conference, you talked about philosophy and being value based, and some of the things, honesty, integrity, and all that, which is the right thing to say, right? I'm not doubting you, but I mean, coaches say those things in the environment where so many kids are in and out so quickly. That has to be a bigger challenge than it's ever been.
It is. I don't think any of us coaches are going to change the landscape with a great culture or just having high character guys and that's it. No, like high character guys are going into the portal too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit of everything. So I think I look at it. I've got to be convicted in what I want and what I believe in. I feel that I am. You've got to have a vision for what that looks like and who you want to pursue. And I feel I do. And once they get here, I think it becomes about, from that point forward, creating a locker room full of highly committed individuals. Now, the student athlete experience, once they get here, the feelings that they take away from being a member of our program on campus, in the community, as basketball players here at Illinois State University, that's going to be on all of us to create this unbelievable environment and feeling that I feel that we can in a short time. So, I think that's sort of how I view it. We want to recruit guys that fit our vision for what this program is going to be, and then commit to the experience that we are seeking and pursue that at the highest level on a daily basis. It's not going to guarantee you anything. That's not saying that we won't ever have kids that transfer, because we will. And, at the end of the day, the transparency and the communication that they're going to get from myself and our coaching staff, I think will go a long way. The connections that we'll create interpersonally, I hope will go a long way. And at the end of the day, I want guys that want to be here. I've said that from the very beginning, is I would be doing our players and our program a disservice if I'm trying to sell anyone that's here on staying here. I just don't believe that that's the right answer. I want what's best for our student athletes. And if not being here, if they feel that that's not, or that would be best for them, I'll be fully supportive of them as we transition here, in the months of March and April.
Those 7 years with Chris Holtmann, 2 at Butler and 5 at Ohio State, and I think all 7 of them you go to the NCAA tournament. What do you think that? How do you think that? I don't know, prepares you to bring winning, all those kinds of things that you're talking about, bringing that influence to Normal?
Well, I think it's an advantage, I think, for any coach, and not just me in particular, but when you have experienced something, I believe my greatest asset that I could bring to our team is my experience. Okay. And I'm fortunate because I've worked at 6 different institutions for 5 different head coaches that are what I think high level people and high level coaches. So I'm very fortunate in that regard. Being a part of the NCAA tournament and understanding what it takes to get there, the rough road. We've been 7 straight years, but none of those were easy.
Sure.
None of those were easy. We've been higher seeds. We've been as high as a 2 seed. We've been as low as an 11 seed, but none of those years were easy. And being able to take some of those experiences that I've had as an assistant coach, and now hopefully impart those traits and characteristics that those teams had and experiences that I had on our program, I think could be an advantage. And that's not particular to me. That's particular to any coaches who have been a part of the NCAA tournament and been a part of successful teams. And as I build my staff, that's going through my head a lot as well. Guys that have experienced success at different places, at different levels, and understand, what that looks like, what that feels like, and on a daily basis, what that acts like as well.
As we're taping this, you guys, Bill has just sent out the press release that you've hired Andrew Dockich, and so Andrew and then Walter. I don't know if I'm going to say his name right. Offit.
Yes.
Those are your first 2 guys. Tell us about those 2 coaches.
So both are guys that I have prior experience with, and I think when you're an assistant coach, you have this view of how you want to start your program and who you want to hire and what that would look like. And then you get into it, and I learned a lot of things about myself here over the past few weeks too. And I feel like I do know a lot of people. I've been in the business 21 years. I know a lot of people, I have a lot of friends. But I think what I've realized is my circle of trust, guys that I know how they'll perform, I know how they'll be, I know how they'll act. I feel like that is a very small circle, and my level of trust in guys that are in that circle is eternally high. It's very high. These are 2 guys that are in that circle, and without a doubt, I've worked with them. I know how they think. I know how they work. I know their habits. I know how they carry themselves on a daily basis. I know how they are with players. So that became so important to me as I'm going through the process, because for all coaches, there's many different directions you can go. And certainly there's no shortage of people that are interested in the job. And I sure appreciate that. Trust me, I've been on the other side of that for
Sure.
21 years.
Yeah.
So I respect that a lot. And I want to talk to everyone. I want to listen to everyone. I want to, communicate and return phone calls and text messages, but, and I will, but I think at the end of the day, for me, those 2 guys, that was really, really important to me. And I have no hesitation in hiring them. I'm sure, any staff you put together, you can look at it one way or look at it another. Like at the end of the day, it's going to be about the results that we put together as a staff. And these are guys that I'll go to war with any day of the week.
So will Andrew be doing a podcast to rival his father, or?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't talked to him about that. He's like his dad. He has the gift of gab.
There you go.
So yeah, and I think they're probably very different personas, but listen, it's an advantage. Not for one second would I think it was anything but an advantage. It's an advantage that he grew up in a household where his dad is a former high-level Division I student athlete. He played for one of the greatest coaches of all time. He was a very successful college coach as well. And he's a guy that I've respected. I competed against, as an assistant coach, I competed against his dad and always had a lot of respect for his dad as a coach and as a mind. So as I got to know Andrew and kind of learn more about him through the years, like it's easy to see this is a guy that has basketball in his blood. He lives it, he breathes it. Walt does too. And I feel really convicted. I think you can tell in both of those guys.
Chris Holtmann, you worked for him for so long. Like I was a very mediocre high school basketball player. But I still think about things my old high school basketball coach said.
Yeah.
And when I've coached youth sports, I find myself saying his words and all of that. What is the most Chris Holtmann-like thing that you think I really want to hold on to that. I want to do that.
There's a lot. There's a lot. He has so many great qualities. I am indebted to Chris Holtmann for a lot of reasons. But it was difficult. It was really difficult for me to leave Ohio State. I was from Columbus. Boyhood dream to be a part of that program. I was really transparent about that. But what I would say was even harder was leaving him. And the conversation that I had with him, I went into his office and I could not talk for about 2 minutes. And that's a moment that, should be one of the happiest moments of your life. You're telling your boss that you get a head coaching job. It was hard. That was hard. And I'm so indebted to him and will be for forever. But, the most Chris Holtmann thing, there's going to be a lot that I take from him. But it's something I actually said to our team this morning. We had a team workout this morning, and I want to remind them on a daily basis, we will get what we earn. You'll get what you earn. And it takes entitlement out of the picture, completely out of the picture. There were guys here that were captains last year. I love those guys, gotten to know them. They've been very impressive to me, but I've told them, and I told them in front of the team, you will have to earn that in this program. And that's not just from a leadership standpoint, but from a performance standpoint, an investment standpoint, commitment standpoint. As a program, we will get what we earn. That's a Chris Holtmann quote from the very beginning, and it's a core foundational piece of how we're going to build this program.
A couple last things. Talk about your roster a little bit. You've had some guys entering the portal, or I don't know, at least one, but maybe a couple. And then some guys that are still there, and obviously you're recruiting and all of that. Just talk a little bit about the current roster and what you've learned about your guys so far.
Yeah, it's fluid.
I know you haven't had a lot of time. I get that.
Yeah, I've been with them, probably 5 days now, 6 days, but it's going to be a very fluid situation. I think when you take over a job at any level, regardless of whether they're coming off of a coaching change for good reason or not good reason, I think that, when someone from the outside comes in this day and age, you got to anticipate that there's going to be some movement. And I think this is fair to say for not just our situation, but any new coaches, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 guys that would definitely like to stay. Probably going to be 3 or 4 guys that would definitely like to go. And then there's going to be about 4, 6, 8 guys in the middle that are trying to get a vibe here and trying to get a feel for how you're going to be as a coach. Sure. And we're going to get along with you. And what kinds of things are you saying? And I'm not going to walk in the door. I've told you this, by making promises or over promising or trying to talk guys into staying. But I'm going to walk in the door trying to get to know them and understand their story, understand their journey. I've got a pad here of notes from individual meetings I've had that, I'm wearing them out with questions and trying to get to know about their families and what their ambitions are and, how they feel, the first few years maybe in their career here have gone and how they enjoyed their experience at Illinois State. So I'm trying to fast forward that process as much as I can to understand who they are and what they're all about. So do I anticipate there will be some changes? Yeah, I would love to say like, hey, everyone is going to be so highly committed at the highest level, but my instincts and my experience tell me, different guys may have different plans. That's okay. That's okay. I want what's best for them. And I'll support them either way. I want them to know that. I've been really transparent in communicating that. The right guys that want to stay here and that we want to be a part of this, vitally important. They're vitally important because they've been here. They played in the Missouri Valley Conference. They understand how this works. That can be very valuable for any program, is having guys that have experience. So, but other than that, we're going to be really active on the transfer market with the transfer portal for sure. We're going to exhaust all options. I have an idea of how I want to build the program, and I don't ever want that to be really imbalanced, but we're going to try to put together the best roster we can. And I think Illinois State offers us the opportunity to put a really good roster together because this is such an attractive situation, attractive place to be. And so we're really excited.
It's a great campus. Redbird Arena is outstanding. So yeah, you've got a lot to sell, if I can say it that way. Maybe, I don't know if selling is the right word. But the transfer portal has certainly radically changed the way recruiting transpires, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. And that's a whole different conversation, Harry, that we could have about the values that it's reinforcing or not reinforcing. There's parts of it I don't love, but let's be real. We've got to embrace it, right? We've got to embrace it. And the fluidity of movement in our sport is not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere. And student athletes have the power to come and go as they please and not have to sit out on a one-time transfer. So, and there's a lot of advantages from that too. I'm not sitting here trying to bash that concept, but there's parts of it that I think are more beneficial to their growth than others. But it's a different era. I think philosophically, you have to. There's things that I could tell you that sound really good, and then there's things that I could tell you that are like realities of our job and our profession at this level. And I'm into being real and honest and having transparent conversations and dialogue. So I want to always have a balanced roster. High school recruiting high school student athletes, especially from our region, be really important to our program. But I think I'd be a little bit ambitious if I said we're going to completely build our program that way with 13 guys that are all high school guys. I don't think that's necessarily the best formula for consistently winning in this day and age. So so we're adjusting as you have to. And I think the teams and programs that do adjust and have a true philosophy on how they want to build their roster, I think it will be at a real advantage.
Have you spent any time with Dan Muller? Have the two of you connected since you got the job?
We have. We've talked, not face to face, but I've had multiple conversations with him. And I want to say, he's been tremendous to me, and I have a lot of respect for him. He and I have been friends over the years. I will never disparage the past or his program. I'll embrace it. Okay. Dan Muller loves Illinois State. He's a proud alum of this university. I know that because I know him. And I will never do anything but honor that, and as will our entire program. So, it's, parts of that are unfortunate, obviously. But it's really not my place to comment on anything beyond that, other than to tell you I have a lot of respect for him, and all of our alumni are going to be really, really important to us moving forward. And he's one of those guys, and he's a guy that I'll always call a friend.
Well, I reached out to him. I've talked to him several times since, the announcements and all that. And he bragged about you to me as well. So wow. It's a mutual thing. So if EJ can lose the agent, can you draw him to Illinois State?
Yeah, I've already told he and his parents that his dream of playing the point guard position is here. It's waiting on him here. And he just needs to say the word. This would be a great story. His parents both went to Illinois State. He can follow in their footsteps and ride off into the sunset. So we're anticipating that, happening very soon, Yeah.
Listen, I'm putting that up on Twitter later today.
Yeah. What a great family. He's one of the finest young men I've ever recruited. Comes from a great high school program, Joe Muniz, and what they did at Belleville West. And you're talking about one of two guys to ever win back-to-back Mr. Basketballs in the state of Illinois. Historically speaking, he's one of the greatest in this state. And he's equally as impressive as a young man. And if you get to know the family, it's not hard to see why. I just feel really strongly about them and their family and his background, and I'll always be pulling for him moving forward.
And strategically, that opens some doors for you down closer to me, down here in Southwest Illinois. I live in St. Louis, and that opens some doors, right? Because you have that relationship into that community already.
Yeah, I think so. We've got built-in relationships throughout the state, and people. There's a lot of people we're going to meet, but that's something it'll be very important to us. Building bridges to this campus, and so we can keep the guys home that will fit our program. And that's important to us. We're not going to recruit everyone. We're going to recruit the guys that fit. And I think, I've been pretty transparent in saying that. But the state and the region, we're very, it's going to be a very poignant part of our growth and how we kind of like to build our program.
So my takeaways are EJ's playing point guard next year, and I got it. Okay, good. That's my takeaway.
Yeah.
Hey, I really appreciate your time. Wanted to get to know you and get our readers to get to know you a little bit differently, or just more personally. And I was transparency. Like, I really consider Dan a good friend, and so we've done a lot of communication. And he said not only positive things about you, he was just like, I want the program to be great.
He does.
I'm not there, but I still want the program to be great. So we wish you all the best. Appreciate your time today, and wish you just great success there at Illinois State.
Hey, Harry, I appreciate it. One last thing I'd like to say too is just first of all, appreciate you having me on here. I wanted to say what an honor it is to be a part of the conference. And I don't walk in the door as a guy that has all the answers. We're going to go about our business, how we go about our business. But my hope is that we can enhance, our program can enhance the conference. I have ultimate respect for the coaches in the conference because I think it is a great, very well coached league. Like I think there are some great coaches in this league. We respect the basketball that's played here, and that's gonna rise our program up. My hope is moving forward, we can continue to enhance the Missouri Valley Conference, and I hope we have some of the greatest years in our conference coming ahead of us. It's a changing league, we know that, but there's some great basketball coaches and great basketball programs, and we're excited to be a part of it.
I appreciate that last comment. I'm a big fan of the league. That's Ryan Pedon. He's the head coach at Ohio. Used to be the assistant at Ohio State, now the head coach at Illinois State. Appreciate your time today, Coach, and appreciate you folks watching today. I'm Harry Schroeder, reminding you, since you've been there, make it a better place. We'll see you again real soon.